Okay, let's now take a look at how we do the weighted method for our process costing. I want to direct you on to your textbooks. If you happen to have your textbook with you, open that up to page 710. And on 710, they actually give us the data set that goes along with the PowerPoint slides that I've posted for you guys for Chapter 18. If you happen to have the 14th edition of the textbook, the data set has not changed. The data set in Chapter 18, 14th edition text is on page 648. But on the e-text and the 15th edition version, it is page 710. Alright, so we have got some information here for the month of July. We have carried over some units from the prior month, and we have a beginning inventory of 1,500 physical units. Those units had incurred in the past period $12,000 worth of direct materials and $9,000 as to conversion cost. Therefore, if you add those two numbers up, you've got a total of $21,000 that we've got to bring forward into the month of July and add the additional direct materials and the additional conversion cost covered in July to that number, and then using that weighted method where we go about basically averaging a per unit price or cost to those different direct materials and conversion cost categories, and then we'll apply that number on. In regards to the items, again, we're making that assumption that our direct materials are added at 100% when the units are started in the process. So the fact that these units were started the prior period, they were also given 100% of their direct materials then. In regards to conversion cost, however, these units have only been processed up to 60%. Therefore, we're going to work on those units and finish them up 40% more to get them 100% completed and make them into finished goods units. During this current month, this month of July, we've started an additional 8,500 units. Our results for the month are that we had 7,000 good units completed and transferred out during the month of July. We also ended with 2,000 units left in work in process inventory. Now, if you'll pay attention to those numbers right there, if we were to just look at them, we've got 1,500 brought over and an additional 8,500 started in the month of July. Therefore, we've got 10,000 units that we need to account for. And if you'll notice that we only had 7,000 units that were good and 2,000 left in work in process, 7,000 good units plus 2,000 left in work in process means that's 9,000 total. If you will take that 9,000 and subtract it from the 10,000, that means we've got 1,000 units that we have a problem with. And that 1,000 units are the number of units we have that are spoiled. Now, what we've got to go about analyzing is what percentage of that 1,000 are we okay with and what percentage are we not okay with. The ones that we're okay with are the ones that are normal, they're expected, we're planning on those being there, but the rest of those are abnormal. We're not real happy with them. In regards to the work in process that we are leaving, again, we're going to assume that they too have gotten 100% of their direct materials and their conversion cost. They are only 50% converted as to how far along they've made it in the process. So they are only going to get 50% of their conversion cost allotted to them in our process cost documentation. Our total cost added during the month of July, $76,500 in direct materials and $89,100 as to conversion cost, for a total of $165,600. And our normal spoolage as a percent of good units is an expectation of 10%. Okay, so what are we saying? Management is okay with 10% of our production being spoiled. So we're okay with that, and we're going to apply that number to our good units produced and say that it is okay for each time we process 10, that one additional unit is okay to be spoiled. Here we see, in regards to the degree of completion for our normal spoolage and our abnormal spoolage, that we're going to consider our direct materials and our conversion costs to both be applied at 100%. So no partial conversion. Again, we've made that assumption already about direct materials, that the direct materials were put into the process initially, just like we've been doing. But the conversion cost, we're going to have that assumption here in this one, that they're 100% converted and then they're deemed spoiled. So we'll come back to this data in our PowerPoint slides.